Buonasera, buonasera, benvenuta. So, I am trying to learn a little bit of Italian because I want to go back to Italy. And this time I want to, be able to say a few words. But it's a beautiful place. I just got to get back there. So, thank you for stopping in. I hope all is going well. Drop me a line. I would love to hear from you. Let me know what's going on in your life. And so we're going to pick up where we left off in a minute or two. We took my nephew out for his birthday tonight for dinner. So I'm a little bit tired and full, so I have the itis going on. So please bear with me. Like I said, drop me a line, leave a comment, subscribe. Please share the video. All is greatly appreciated. And so we left off where Alan was wondering if at times he might be lonely, but then at the same time was thinking that he wasn't really quite ready for a relationship. But at some point you have to decide. So anyway, so Marie was saying, so I had met this guy that was a little younger than me. We exchanged numbers. He lived around the corner from Monica's babysitter. We'd said hello when we saw each other. He was tall, dark, and handsome with gorgeous white teeth, and he was a sharp-ass dresser. Yet, he didn't have a car. I had called him. We had a nice conversation. He convinced me to let him come over. He came over along with a bottle of vodka, some orange juice, and fixings for dinner. Yes, he cooked a delicious meal. Pork chops, smothered apples, and baked potatoes. I sat at the kitchen table sipping on my cocktail, talking and watching how comfortable he was in the kitchen. Dessert was butter pecan ice cream. After dinner, I was so full I had 2 plates of food, so I was really good and full after dinner. We sat on the sofa talking and watching television. He stood up around 8 o'clock and said he had to leave, but he'd call me tomorrow. I was surprised he was leaving so early and not even tried to get some. I walked him to the door where we exchanged a nice kiss. I saw and talked to him for a few months before I let him meet my daughter. His name was Roy, and Roy was a real gentleman. Very respectable and always brought a snack for Monica or a soda. Come to find out, my friend Linda had dated some guy, and this guy knew Roy. Well, Linda's friend told me Roy was a drug dealer. I couldn't believe it. I finally asked him about it. Roy admitted it was true, and I told him I couldn't continue seeing him. He understood and, as usual, was a gentleman about the situation. About now, I was getting tired of the dating scene. From now on, it was going to just be casual and friendly, dating once in a while. I know I said this before, but really, once in a while. No hassles. I really enjoy men, but don't want their ass around me all the time. There's too much drama and games with them. I don't have the energy to put into this shit anymore. I know men probably say the same thing, but I'm for real about it this time. I fix myself a drink and sit back to watch television and reflect and plan my upcoming week. This was more like it, relaxing with no man stress. So Junie, this time, as usual, wasn't waiting for anybody. Time wasn't waiting for anybody, as usual. It had been almost 2 years since we'd had a baby, and Paula had missed her cycle this month. We were excited for her doctor's appointment. We had been trying for another baby. God would see that we got along. God would see that we got along just fine. We were struggling, but really, Who was it? Paula always had a nice ample rear, but when she was pregnant, it got a bit plumper. I was not complaining. I love a woman with meat on her bones. Bones need not apply here. Nope, don't want no bones. So Paula was now in her 6th month when my uncle Rob passed away. He'd had a tumor of the brain. He survived the surgery but went into shock when he woke up and realized he'd survived it. And that's really sad. He was such a good man, kind to everybody, easy and a smooth personality. We gave our second born the middle name Robert after him. Our second son was born cute as could be, but with some health problems, such as a spot on his lung. They had to remove a portion of the lung that had the spot on it. This was a difficult time for us. Our baby was in the hospital and he was just an infant. Why was he going through this? Paul and I cried and prayed many a times while he was sick. Thank God our baby survived it all and became very healthy. As the doctor said, he is now thriving, all plump he was, and I nicknamed him Chubby Daddy. I was working my ass off doing overtime when it was available and had taken a little time off from school to help with the children and our bills. After 3 years out of school, I figured I'd better get back to it. Paula had gone back to work this year to help out financially so that I could afford to go back to school. Her paycheck would make up for the lack of my overtime or doing gardening work. She was a very supportive wife in every way, and of course, my family helped by babysitting anytime. Sometimes they'd keep the boys overnight so that we could have some time to ourselves. We appreciated their babysitting and our time alone. But by the second day, we were glad to get back to our little babies. Look, time was passing. It was about 5 years down the road. The kids were growing strong and healthy. I was doing pretty good in school, but there was a slight change in Paula. I tried to talk to her about it, but didn't really get anywhere with the conversations. She was not as sociable as she normally had been. It was getting close to a year of this. Her staying home instead of visiting family or not answering the telephone. She says she answers telephones all day at work. That's the last thing she wanted to do at home, which I understood her point, but now other people have started mentioning Paula not being seen or not hearing from her. Eventually, I told her maybe she should see somebody that might be able to help her. Maybe she's suffering from depression, I was thinking. I had my degree in nursing psychology. I was pretty sure she was depressed. She wasn't down for that idea, so I let it slide a while longer. About 5 more months had passed when I suggested if she went to talk to someone about her problems, I'd go with her. She agreed this time, and I was glad. There had been some foul things going on since her long lost sister had shown up. I mean, her natural sister, who she hadn't seen or heard from in over 20 years. Seeing her sister and hearing about some of the awful things that had happened had caused emotional trauma to her, whether she admitted it or not. My mouth is so dry. Like I was saying, whether she admitted it or not. I don't know if her sister meant any harm or was she a bit touched in the head. Who can truly say? To me, it was a little of both. After seeing a counselor about her mental and emotional state. During this time, she had heard her real father was still alive, and her sister took our oldest son to meet his grandfather. Come to find out, he was still a part of the mob. So we didn't allow our sons to go and see him again. That wasn't a big deal to him. Anyway, he's thrown his kids away. He didn't give a shit about not seeing his black grandsons. Well, anyway, spending time with her sister seemed to do more harm each visit. Paula eventually stopped associating with her sister, which I imagine was a hurtful thing to do, considering this was the second time she had to separate from her natural family. As time went on, all of these mixed up, confused emotions started taking a toll on our marriage. The worst part about it was I really think she didn't mean to harm our marriage. She was maybe somewhat adrift emotionally. Then it came the time when I had to say it again. We need to see a counselor to try to get through these problems and try to fix things before our marriage falls apart. My marriage, my family meant everything to me. I had cried many times praying and wondering what was happening to us and to her. I wanted us to work out forever. We started counseling again and even took our kids with us for a few visits because we were concerned for them too. I couldn't tell anybody what was going on in our house. Was it pride that made me this way? Yes. Was it hurt? Yes. Was it disappointment? Yes. I did finally talk to my mother about it. I talked to her about it all. I was sitting at the kitchen table where most conversations took place. My mom and I sat down and I started telling her all that had been going on. My mom was at the kitchen sink when I started crying some. I'll be honest, I'm a man that's not ashamed to cry. We were not taught that boys don't cry. We were taught we're human. You have emotions and there's nothing wrong with crying. I didn't let just any or everybody see the soft side of me because in everyone's eyes, I'm the prudential rock, a solid foundation. My brother called my brother and I call our youngest sister the baby. She rubbed my shoulders without saying anything while I was crying and laid her head on the top of my head to comfort me. This was the first time my sister had seen me cry, but I was getting older now and experiencing difficult situations that were important and emotional to me. So we'll stop right here for right now. But like he says, there's nothing wrong with a man crying or a boy crying. You humans, you have emotions, you have feelings. You should not be ashamed to feel them and accept those feelings and handle them. If you don't, it just makes things harder, I think, down the line. But on that note, drop me a line and let me know what you think about that. And have you experienced anything that you felt like you did cry or that you should have cried or that you should have talked to somebody about it? Um, Again, thank you for stopping by. Have a good night. Have a good weekend. And I will see you here again soon. Thank you. Love and peace.